Super Retro Force.
Alright everyone, the Christmas Nintendo eShop deals have arrived. The first wave of games on sale did hit the store, and we're going to go through some of the better budget deals that you can pick up right now. We'll start off with games under $2 for this video, and then we'll work our way up like we did with Black Friday. As always, if you enjoy the video, please drop a like before you head out. It really does mean a lot to me, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you have a good time, or I hope you find a game to pick up, please hit the subscribe button and become part of the crew. As always, to the crew, welcome back my friends. Thanks for hanging out, and with that, we'll dive in. Alright, we'll start with Blazing Beaks, which is a fast twin-stick shooter that blends chaotic gameplay with a bit of humor, and it offers an incredible challenge, even for veterans of the roguelike genre. You have a couple of different game modes that you can go with. You can either do story or the local PvP tournament mode, which pits you against 3 other people. The game runs well, it looks great, and you do have a good variety of playable characters. Now, it is currently on sale for just $1.99. However, you can get it even cheaper with a little trick that you can do on the eShop. I have a full video on how it works, and I'll have that link down below. It is worth checking out for sure. You can get games for under $1, including this one. Alright, next we have Butcher, which is a violent 2D action platformer that offers about 3 to 4 hours of gameplay, and for any fan of games like Doom or really anything that is super brutal, this game will likely be right up your alley. The low-res pixel art looks great and the sound design is incredible. I love the level layout, the way you're working through this messed up ship. Now they are pretty short, but the game encourages speedrunning, so I guess that makes sense. As for the difficulty, you have 2 options. You can go with the default, or they do have a casual mode, which makes the game significantly easier. Now, if you're interested, make sure to pick it up before the deal ends on the 28th. It's just $1.99, and the download is a little under 200 megabytes. Dr. Fetus's Mean Meat Machine is a puzzle game here on the Switch that blends gameplay mechanics that you would find in Tetris or Puyo Puyo with something like Disc Room or Super Meat Boy. You'll have to match 4 clones together while avoiding environmental hazards, things like deadly saw blades or swinging pendulums. The game should take about 5 hours to wrap up, and there are a few different boss fights along the way as well. Now, this game is incredibly difficult and can be frustrating at times, but if you're up for the challenge, it is on sale for just $1.99. The download is around 430 megabytes. Earth Atlantis is an underwater side-scrolling shooter with a unique graphical style. The world is large and interconnected, meaning that just like with a Metroidvania, you'll be doing things to unlock new areas and expand the map. Now in this case, you'll be opening new areas by defeating the many different bosses that the game will throw at you. Now you don't really get any power-ups like you would in a traditional Metroidvania, but you will be able to continue progressing through the roughly 5-hour story. That's not to say that there aren't cool power-ups though, they just don't come from the bosses, rather they come from the levels. It's a cool game, but it does have a few difficulty spikes that you'll want to be aware of. Again, if you're up for the challenge though, it is on sale for just $1.99. The download is just under 700 megabytes. Mousecraft is another unique puzzle game here on the Switch. The goal for each level will be to get all 3 of the mice from point A to point B, or from the wheel to the block of cheese. The challenge comes from the real-time problem solving and the hazards, of course, that are in every level, like the acid pools or the robotic rats. Dr. Schrodinger is constantly trying to kill you. Of course, with all of that said, the game can be tough at times, but when a puzzle comes together in your mind, it does feel amazing. Now, you should get about 9 or 10 hours of gameplay, and it is on sale for just $1.99. The download comes in at about 1 gig. Outbuddies DX is an indie Metroidvania that takes place in an underwater lab. You should get about 10 to 15 hours from the pickup, and the story follows a lost scientist and his robot companion as they explore this underwater fortress. Again, this game is pretty challenging. The combat requires a bit of strategy, and the boss battles can be kind of brutal. With that said though, the game plays just fine. It's just a tough one. They do offer an assisted co-op mode where player 2 can control the little robot dude, but it is a bit limited and not really a full-blown co-op mode. The map could also use a little work, but it is on sale for $1.99, so I can let a few things go. Make sure to grab it up before the deal ends. The download is around 540 megabytes. Polyroll is a modern game that was inspired by a retro classic. This time the game looks and feels a lot like older 2D Sonic games. With that said though, they did try to make it their own, and the boss battles are pretty creative, plus you're getting about 4 to 6 hours of gameplay, so it's a pretty good value as well. If you enjoy those older games or just a good 2D platformer in general, this one is on sale for $1.99. The download is around 200 megabytes, and the deal ends a little after Christmas. Rigid Force Redux is a side-scrolling shooter with a download just over 1.5 gigs, and it offers dozens of hours of gameplay. Now this is a remaster of Rigid Force Alpha, and so we follow the same crew as we take on hordes of enemies in some pretty intense combat scenarios. As you play through the levels, you can find upgrades and power-ups that will stack onto one another, and so if you can avoid taking damage for a bit, you will become quite powerful. In addition to the main game, you also have the boss rush option, which is always a welcome addition to any game in my opinion. The soundtrack is another highlight, and right now it's on sale for just $1.99. The Coma Recut is a 2D survival horror themed adventure game. This is a remastered version and should offer about 5 to 6 hours of gameplay. It features a unique art style and follows a young student stuck in a nightmarish version of his high school. We find ourselves being chased by a psychotic teacher, and since you only have your backpack and your flashlight, you will have to run and hide pretty often. You can find items scattered around, and you'll want to search for everything. It's definitely not the best game in the genre, but it is currently on sale at an all-time low at just $1.99. The deal ends a little after Christmas, and the download is just over 1.3 gigs. Tiny Lands is a relaxing single-player game that takes a simple premise such as spotting the difference between two different pictures and then brings it to life with these tiny dioramas, each with the list of random things for players to find and point out as you move on through each little world. Now the music is fantastic, and there are actually a lot of different levels with different themes and all of that. Right now it's on sale for just $1.99. The deal ends right after Christmas, and you'll need about 1 gig for the download. Alright everyone, and as always, here are some other deals to check out while you're already on the eShop. Alright everyone, that wraps up another video. Thank you as always for hanging out. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and do all the YouTube stuff, sharing, subscribing, blah blah blah. And I'll see you on the next one.
Super Metro Bonus.